Hello everyone, today I've got a longer Vinyasa flow for you. So it's been a little while since we've done a longer flow, so it'll be about 45 minutes. We're going to get started in a wide leg child's pose. So knees come to outside edges of the mat, heart just sinks down to the mat. Either your forehead or your chin coming down to the mat. And we'll just take a few moments to ground here. Gently with your next inhale, come up slowly, and then we're going to come up onto the fingertips, and our bums are going to go higher up into the sky, and we're going to come down into puppy pose. So we'll be higher on the knees, and our heart again sinks down to the mat, but getting a deeper opening in the shoulders. Maybe now placing your chin to the mat if you are a little bit more open. Now we're just going to walk our fingertips over to the left side and sink our hearts down to the mat, staying on the fingertips here. And then gently walk over to the right side. And again, sink our hearts down towards the mat. Back through centre. And then we're going to push up to a downward facing dog. So hands shoulder width distance, feet hip width distance. We're going to come up high onto those toes to start with, and then push into those knees so that we elongate the spine. And then we can start to use the pressure to push our heels closer down to the mat. Remembering to connect the breath here. So nice long inhales and exhales through the nose with sound. Then we're going to take our feet just off the outside edges of the mat, and we're going to come high, push higher up into our tailbones, and then bend through the knees and get a slightly different opening and a more deeper opening through the back. Looking straight through your legs. And then come back to a downward facing dog. Now in our downward dogs, we're going to wave forward to a plank. And then we're going to bend through the knees and push back into our downward facing dog, creating these wave-like motions. Now we go back to plank and bend the knees and wave back into our downward facing dog. We'll do this a couple more times. So waving forward into our plank, then bend through the knees and push your tailbone high up to the sky. And one more time, forward into our planks and wave back to downward facing dog. Now we'll all bend through the knees and jump. Make sure your gaze is in between the hands, and then your feet are going to land there. And then slowly roll up to standing, head and neck coming last. So now we're going to work through some sun salutation A's. So toes touching, heels slightly apart. Inhale, hands up to the sky. We're going to modify our sun A's here, and we're going to fold forward halfway, just reaching out our arms. This is going to engage our entire body and add a little element of power to our flow today. And then release and forward fold down to the floor. Halfway lift, fingertips to touch the mat or to touch the shins, up to you. Then we're going to bend through the knees and jump back into a plank, or you can step back in this first one. Then we're going to lower the knees to the mat, then lower the body down to the mat, push up through cobra, and back to downward facing dog. Again, remembering to breathe here. Nice long inhales and exhales with sound. Bend through the knees, step or jump between the hands, and come up to standing, head and neck coming last. Then we're going to do this again. So inhale, hands up to the sky. Forward fold halfway so that our arms are out long in front, and we're powering up again through the entire body. And forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, jump back to plank. Hold in our plank, and then we're going to lower either knees and then down to the mat, or lower chaturanga. So elbows tucking in, upward facing dog or cobra, downward facing dog. Again, connecting to our breath here. Maybe edging a little bit deeper into the posture. Bend through the knees, look between the hands, jump to the top of the mat, and then we'll roll up to standing slowly. Connect to the breath again. We're going to come through some sun cell B's now. So toes touching heels slightly apart. Inhale, hands up to the sky. Sink our bums back so that we can see our two big toes in front of us, and power up strong in our chair posture. Forward fold. Halfway lift. Step or jump back to plank. Lower knees or straight down chaturanga. Upward facing dog or cobra. Downward facing dog. Inhale, right knee to nose, step it in between the hands, back foot turns on a 45-degree angle, and we power up to our warrior one. As it is our first one, we'll stay here for a few breaths. Lower the hands down to the mat, step back to plank, lower knees or straight down through chaturanga, upward facing dog or cobra, downward facing dog. Left knee comes to chest, place it gently in between the hands, power up through the arms into our warrior two on the left side. So right foot is on a 45-degree angle, and we're sinking into this front knee in our strong warrior ones. Lower down to plank, chaturanga or knees to the mat first, upward facing dog or cobra, downward facing dog. So we'll come straight into the second round. So we'll bend through the knees and we're going to jump back into our chair posture, Utkatasana, and hold, making sure we can see the two big toes. We're sinking deep into these hips and tucking our tailbone in. Forward fold, halfway lift, step or jump back to plank, knees, chest, chin or chaturanga, upward facing dog or cobra, downward facing dog. Right knee to chest, in between the hands, power up warrior one. Lower down through plank, knees to the floor or chaturanga, upward facing dog or cobra, downward facing dog. Left knee comes to chest, place it in between the hands gently with control. Power up through the legs, warrior one. Lower down to plank, knees down to the mat or chaturanga, upward facing dog or cobra, and downward facing dog. And we'll just hold here, remembering you can always take a child's pose if that is what your body is asking for right now. Just breathe and hold here. Then we'll bend through the knees, look directly in between the hands, step or jump to the top of the mat, come up to standing, head and neck coming last. So now we're going to build on what we've just worked on, so adding in some more postures to the sequence. So toes touching, heels slightly apart. Inhale, hands up to the sky. Then we're going to come to this halfway hold again, arms out strong in front of you. Forward fold. Halfway lift. We're going to step or jump back to plank. Then we're going to come straight into side plank. So firmly placing that right hand strong in the middle, twisting onto the outside edge of the right foot and powering up strong through our side planks. Maybe lifting off that left leg for a little bit more of a challenge. And then we're going to come to an easy twist. So our left leg is going to be placed right next to our right hand. So try and slowly with control. You might need to use the left hand to help you get that foot there, and that's absolutely fine. Come onto the back toes and then power up through that left hand into our easy twist. Now we're going to come up into a half moon posture. So powering into that left leg, and our left arm is going to come to the mat about 6 inches in front. And then that right foot is flexed towards the back of the mat, and the right arm is coming up to the sky, nice and strong through all limbs here. So every full body is active here. Now we're going to squat through this left leg and bring the right knee to the left side of the left foot. So if you don't understand, just watch the first time, because we'll do this again. Bring the hands to heart, if you can balance. Bring the hands to heart center, and then we squat down, but hold here. We are not placing the knee onto the mat. And then power back up, kick that right leg out in front. We can either grab your left hand onto the outside edge of the right knee and twist here, or if you'd like to challenge yourself a bit further, you can grab the outside edge of the right foot, kick it out long and twist in this standing posture. Holding the knee is absolutely fine. This is a very strong, challenging posture. Bring the hands through center. We're going to step back into a high lunge and twist round to the left side now. Hold and breathe here. Now we're going to push off up into the left leg and come into a warrior three. So hands come to heart center or out in front for more of a challenge. Then we're going to lower through this left knee, step back into a warrior two and open up the arms. Open hips here, pushing firmly into that front knee. Then we're going to sweep forward and reverse that warrior. Then frame the front foot, step back to plank, knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga, upward facing dog or cobra, and downward facing dog. Connecting to the breath again, remembering you can always take a child's pose here. Bending through the knees, looking in between the hands, step or jump to the top of the mat. Come up to standing, head and neck coming last. Then we've got the other side to do. So toes touching, heels slightly apart. Inhale, hands up to the sky. Forward fold halfway, so we're having this nice, long, fully engaged body. Forward fold. Halfway lift. Step or jump back to plank. Now we're coming to side plank on the left side. So firmly root through that left hand, twist onto the outside edge of the left foot and power this right arm up to the sky. Either staying here or challenging yourself to lift up that right leg. Now we're going to bring that right foot next to the left hand into easy twist. So again, remembering you can always use the hand to assist you, just doing it nice and slow with control. Lift that right arm up to the sky, coming onto the top of the left toes into our easy twist. Now we're going to push our weight into our right foot, so we come up into our half moon pose. So right hand comes to the mat, left hand comes up to the sky. All four limbs are engaged here. Now we're going to come into this weird squat thing. So hands come to heart center, bend through the right knee. And that left knee comes to the right side of the right foot. And we hold here in our squat. Now we need to power up through with control. Bring that right foot through in front of you. Maybe just grabbing the knee and opening up to the left side. Come into our twist, or grabbing the outside edge of the left foot. Just whichever one your body allows you to come to today. Come back through center, step back into our high lunge and open straight up into our twisted high lunge. So now you're looking to the right side of your mat. Now we're going to power through this right foot and step up into a warrior 3. With control, if possible. Hands to heart center or out in front. Now with control, bending through that right knee, opening up into our warrior 2. So sinking down into the hips, into that front knee, opening our arms out nice and long, gazing over those right fingertips. Reach forward, sweep those arms back. Reverse warrior. Frame the front foot, step back to plank. Knees down to the mat first, or straight down chaturanga. Upward facing dog or cobra. Downward facing dog. And breathe. It's the chance to connect back to your breath. You want nice, long, deep inhales and exhales here with sound. To prepare us for another round, because we're going to do the same again, but one breath, one action. So we'll move through the sequence quicker now that you hopefully know what the sequence kind of is. Bend through the knees, look between the hands, jump to the top of the mat. Come up to standing, head and neck coming last. Toes touching, heels slightly apart. Inhale, hands up to the sky. Exhale, forward fold halfway. Then forward fold. Halfway lift. Jump back to plank. Plant that right arm strong. Open up into our side plank on the right side. Left leg comes up high. With control, place it next to the right hand into our easy twist. Power up through this left leg into our half moon posture. All limbs nice and strong here. Squat down into our, I think it's called Shiba's squat actually. So nice and strong here. Power up through, either leg out long in front or holding the knee. Open up to the right edge of the mat. Come through center, step back, Twisted high lunge to the left. Power through this front knee, warrior 3. With control, step back, warrior 2. Reach forward, sweep back, reverse warrior. Frame that front foot, step back to plank, knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. Upward facing dog or cobra. Downward facing dog. And breathe. Bend through the knees, look between the hands, jump to the top of the mat. Come up to standing, head and neck coming last. Toes touching heels slightly apart, inhale. Exhale, forward fold, halfway. Now forward fold, halfway lift, step back or jump to plank. Then we're going to come to side plank on the left, so firmly root through that left hand, power up through the right, maybe lifting that right leg off of the left. With control, placing it next to the left hand, opening up, easy twist. Powering through that right leg, come up into our half moon posture. Now take the squat and hold. Power up through, grabbing the outside edge of the foot or the knee, opening up to the left. Come through centre. Step back into our twisted high lunge. So we're opening up to the right side of the mat. Power up through this right leg. Come into our warrior 3. With control, bend through that right knee, open up into our warrior 2. Sweep forward, reverse your warrior. Frame that front foot, step back to plank, knees, chest, chin or chaturanga. Upward facing dog or cobra. Downward facing dog. And breathe. Maybe taking child's pose if this is what your body is calling out for right now. Now we're just going to bring this right knee through between the hands and just turn out so you're facing the outside edges of the mat. Come to standing. We're going to come to a wide leg forward fold. So our toes are facing slightly inwards. This is just going to give us the rotation of the thighs that we need to get deeper into the posture. So we're going to inhale, hands up to the sky. And exhale, forward fold. And we want the arms to come towards the outside edges of the feet, so the back of the ankles. They might only come to the shins, that's fine. I just want you to make the connection, so even if you do have to have a slight bend in the knees, just try and make this connection between your hands and your ankles. And then we'll elongate the spine out long in front, and then use the force of you pulling on the back of your legs to pull yourself in closer to your midline. And breathe here. And coming out, now we're just going to turn those heels in, squat down into the legs and come into a goddess. If you don't already know, you can tell that I love this posture as I always add it into my flows. I'm going to come up high onto those right toes and hold and lower. Come up high onto the left toes, hold and lower. Now both toes, if you can, and lower, and then just power up through all the way into standing. Maybe just give those hips a little wiggle. We're going to squat down into our goddess one more time, and we're going to make this action with our hands. We're going to be drawing up the energy and then opening into cactus. So you can watch me the first few times and then join in, but just making sure you're following the inhales and the exhales. So we'll inhale, exhale, open to cactus. Draw the body round, arch the spine. And then inhale, exhale to cactus, arch the body round. Inhale, exhale, arms open to cactus, arch this body round again. Then bring this energy up one more time. Inhale, exhale, round the spine, and release. Maybe just wiggling out those hips if the quads have got a little bit tight. We're going to heel toe these feet in slightly, and we're going to just squat down into our malasana, our yogic squat. So sinking right into this pose, feeling nice and deep into the hips, maybe swaying from side to side. We're going to open that right arm out long and bring this left arm up, right up to the sky. Maybe creating the bind. So to do this, you need to wrap that right arm around the right leg, left arm over the top, and heart shines up to the sky, getting a deeper opening in the hips. And release. Now open this left arm up to the side. Right arm comes all the way up to the sky. Then maybe making this bind. You've got to really push that knee away so you can create a space to be able to get your hands to connect. And release. Now we're just going to sit down onto our bums, and then we'll just hug our knees in for a second. And then we're going to open them up into a wide leg forward fold. So your legs don't need to be this wide, they can be slightly closer together. Toes flexed, feet flexed. Engaging those legs so you have this sensation of your quads coming up to the midline. Lift your hands up, and we're going to twist over to the right leg first and forward fold. You might need to bend the knee, and that's fine. Just try and get the connection between your hands and your feet, as this will be able to encourage you to be able to elongate the spine. I don't want you to be rounding, so I want you to have the sensation of your chin and heart coming to your foot rather than forehead to knee. And release, and then come over to the left side. So bring those hands up nice and tall, and then forward fold, creating that connection with the hands and the feet, maybe bending through this left knee if need be. Remembering with each inhale, you elongate the spine, and with every exhale, maybe edging a little bit deeper into the posture. And release. Now we're just going to bring this left knee in, and then bring the right foot on top. We're going to come into cow face or shoelace posture, just to really open up the IT bands, as we have used them quite a lot today. So the closer your ankles are to your bum, the easier it's going to be. So if you can't feel anything here, I want you to push your legs out closer to the front edge of the mat. And this is just going to increase the stretch, and you should be able to feel it down the outside of your legs. You need to grow up tall here, elongating the spine up to the sky. And if this is already intense enough, then just stay here. If you would like to increase the stretch, then just walk these hands forward until your flexibility stops you. This is quite an intense posture, so if you are upright, then that's absolutely fine. and slowly edge out. And then we're just going to open up the legs and hold them out wide and hold our arms out in front. If they are bent, then that's absolutely fine. Just hold this for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now bring that right leg in, left leg on top now, knees stacked on top of one another. Both sit bones are firmly rooting down into the mat. And again, either being here or pushing the legs out a little bit away from you, just to increase the stretch. Well, inhale to elongate the spine nice and tall, and then exhale, fold deeper into the stretch, maybe, or staying upright, completely up to you. Slowly edging ourselves out of the posture, and then we'll just unravel the legs again, hold them out one last time, and then just hug everything in. And I'll just face the other way. We're going to work a little bit on the core so that we have covered every aspect of the body today. So we're going to come into our boat posture. We're going to hold here for 5 breaths. So you can either have the legs bent, arms out straight, or arms out long and legs out long. So we'll hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hug everything in. Now we're going to do some boat lowers. So we'll lower all the way down to the mat, but not touching. So about 6 inches off. So we'll go for 5. So 1, and pull up. 2, 3, really engaging every part of you when you go down, when you pull yourself back up. Feeling nice and strong and powerful here. I've lost count, so sorry if we've done a couple more. We'll do one more. And then just hold our boats again for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hug everything in. And then we'll just do some boat dips. So hands to heart center, and we'll go for 20. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And then we're going to rock back, across the legs over, and come all the way to plank and go through a last vinyasa. So rock back, forward into plank, knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga, upward facing dog or cobra, downward facing dog. Then we'll just do a walk through. So I want you to tiptoe super slowly until you can't get any further. And then just cross your legs over, come to seated, legs out long. We'll take a seated forward fold. So maybe pulling out the flesh of the bum cheeks, and then growing nice and tall with the inhale. And as we exhale, we're going to reach for our toes. If you can't touch your toes, bend your knees, because I would like you to have the grip so you can use this to pull your heart closer to your feet. So we'll all grow up tall, and then forward folds. And again, I don't want you to be arching, so if you are arching, just bend the knees slightly so you do have this motion of your heart coming to your feet rather than your forehead to your knees. So with every inhale, you grow the spine and elongate the body, and with every exhale, maybe edging that little bit deeper into the posture. Coming up, and then we'll just hug everything in one last time before coming down to our backs. And then we'll just shuffle our bum forward, lying down on the back. We're going to take a few bridge postures or wheel. So we're going to do 3 variations. So you can just come to whichever level you feel up to today. So we'll start with a bridge. So make sure you can touch your heels with your fingertips. Your toes would be pointing slightly inwards. This is just going to encourage the external rotation of the legs. And then we're going to lift our hips up towards the sky. Shuffle those shoulders in towards one another until your hands can interlock behind your back. And hold, really pushing your pelvis up towards the sky. And release. We'll just window wipe those legs from side to side. So keep your feet exactly where they are. Just drop your knees to the left, knees to the right, left. Right, this will just release the lower back. That is a really good drill for lower back pain as well. So we'll come to our round 2. So again, pushing the hips up, shuffling those shoulders in until the hands interlocked. Maybe this is where you stay, and that's absolutely fine. If you would like to come further, we're going to lift that right leg right up to the sky. Point those toes and hold. And lower. And now lift the left leg. Nice and high, point those toes. If the knee's bent, that's fine, or you might be out here. You don't need to be all the way up. And lower. And we'll window wipe those legs again, left to right. And we'll take one more variation. So either taking one of the 2 we've just done, or coming to full wheel. If you're coming to full wheel, we're going to take the motions exactly the same, but the hands are going to come to just above the shoulders and by the head and the shoulders. And as we push our pelvis up to the sky and are rooting right down firmly through our feet, we'll power up, maybe coming up on just the crown of the head and staying there. This is already a really strong posture and increasing, making your muscles stronger and ready to come up to wheel. If you'd like to come up, pushing through the hands. Slowly lowering, window wipe those legs, left to right. And then we'll just hug those knees in. And we're going to shift the hips to the right, knees fall over to the left. Cactus out the arms out, or T-shape if you've got room. And then we're going to look over to the right hand. Getting a nice opening down the spine. Coming through centre, shifting those hips over to the left, knees come over to the right. Arms out to cactus or T-shape, gazing over the left arm. Then we'll come through centre and we'll just come to Shavasana. So letting those legs go out long. I'm just going to put my jumper on because it suddenly got freezing. So lying down, legs to the outside edges of the mat, palms facing up to the sky. And we'll just do a little quick body scan here. So just checking in, seeing how your feet are feeling. Are they nice and relaxed and falling out to the side? Feeling into your calves, your quads, your pelvic area, your lower abdomen, your chest, your neck, down your arms, your hands, your shoulders, your face and your jaw, making sure you're not holding any tension in your jaw, as this is something we quite often do in Shavasana. So feel free to stay here for longer. I'm going to close up the practice now, so if you'd like to finish with me, we're going to start to wiggle the fingers and the toes, maybe moving the head from side to side. We're going to stretch those arms out long overhead, point those toes or flex them, really feeling into all 4 points of you, growing as long as you possibly can. And then we'll just hug everything into a ball. Fall over to the left or right, up to you, using your arm as a pillow. And then gently pushing yourself up to seated or kneeling, just however you please. And we'll take a couple of releasing breaths. So we'll inhale, exhale, inhale, and exhale. Namaste. Thank you everyone for flowing with me in that slightly longer Vinyasa flow, so I hope you enjoyed it. And yes, enjoy the rest of your days, and I'll see you guys on the mat very soon. Bye.